All right, guys, here we are. As you said, game number 1 for these two players, and we'll start with our Zerg, the only Zerg in the tournament. He is ZeNEX.Life, and up at the top of the map in the blue, representing the team Old Generation StarCrafters, is a very powerful Terran player. I would not be surprised at all if we see this guy in a GSL Codes Championship at some time. It is OGS SuperNoVa.
SuperNoVa indeed. You're saying GSL Championship. He could very well just end up being the in the finals of this event as well.
He could be an IPL champion as well, absolutely. And, you know, actually the first finals I ever casted involved him. It was a Code A finals, and it was SuperNoVa versus Lucira. That was the first GSL finals I casted. So
I remember that one, actually. I was tuning in, supporting you, as a matter of fact. So
oh, well, thank you.
No problem.
That's right. Yeah, a lot of people don't know how long we've been casting together, actually. We've been casting together for over a year now.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah, it has been. I'm trying to look like a...
Well, our first
if you
event
count
was,
like the... okay, the first live
there was
event...
a big gap, you know, of course, when I was in Korea, but...
Right. Our first live event was last February, but we had casted in the Rush Network together since December of 2010.
Did we actually cast together in Rush Network?
Yes, we did. 2 events. So, yes, we did.
Well, good for us.
Remember that. And then we did the SE Reddit Open in January of 2011 as well. So...
yeah,
our friends over at r/StarCraft. We love you all.
That's right. That was a fun event. They actually ran those really, really well.
Yes, they did.
Back in the early days, it was cool. So yeah, man, our first, we're like just strolling down memory lane as this game starts. But, yeah, our first event, we casted a tournament from the lobby of a Best Western hotel. That was interesting.
It was, but it was so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I met let's see, Destiny for the first time there. There was a bunch of players from Complexity. Yeah, Trimaster was there.
Yep.
Before he was Complexity, it was. And then, of course, we had Anti-Mage and RSVP from Complexity there as well. It was a good time.
Yeah, I drove 9 hours from Minnesota down to get there.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And it was funny because the first time I met Destiny there, he whispered to me, and I didn't recognize him without his voice because I hadn't seen him all that often. So he was like, "Hey, Steven, I'm glad to meet you." And I'm like, "Steven? Who's?" He's like, "Destiny." And I was like, "Oh, just say your name." Yeah.
He was afraid to. He might get swamped by his adoring fans. But
the adoring 50 people that were there.
That's right. He's still, you know, everybody loves Destiny. Who doesn't?
That's true.
A lot of people like watching his stream. I have heard. I haven't done it very much, so I admit I haven't watched his stream a whole lot. But he's a super nice guy in person.
He really is.
Anyway, moving on to the game. Probably talk about that a little bit.
Command Center first.
Yeah, for SuperNoVa. And down at the bottom of the map, we had, I believe it was Hatchery first for ZeNEX.Life, although now I'm doubting myself. Are there 2 queens immediately?
Yeah.
Yes, there are, so it was Hatch first.
Yes, it was. You are correct.
All right.
And he decided to do a very fast speed build variant as well.
For the pool.
Right, which is, I think it's delayed just a little bit, but of course he starts speed right away, keeps 1 drone on gas, so it gives him flexibility to put up banelings or roaches later if he needs them.
Yep, that's right. So a pretty safe opening for ZeNEX.Life. And he really wants to not have to lose his extra life here in this tournament by getting knocked down to the lower bracket. I'm sure he'd prefer to advance. And it would be a bit of an upset, honestly, if he beats SuperNoVa. I will be surprised if he wins the series.
According to our IPL Power Rankings, which you guys can find at IGN.com/IPL, just scroll over to the right-hand side and you'll see our power rankings there that are actually updated, very mathematically based, and I actually think they're incredibly accurate. I mean, I really love using them as a reference.
They're definitely getting there, yeah. I'd say they're getting pretty good.
And you guys can actually check those out, and according to those, SuperNoVa is number 18 in the world right now. Life is sitting at number 84.
Yeah, well, he's been performing very well in a lot of events lately. He did make it to the finals of IEM Sao Paulo, I believe, where he did lose to Violet. And there we go. Took a couple more barracks coming out for SuperNoVa. So pretty common build here. Just going to go ahead and add on some Hellions with this as well. Get that Tech Lab going, get Stim going. And so we're probably going to see him move into Marine Tank at some point in this game, although we may see some Marine Hellion aggression as well. And a lot of Terran players have decided to just kind of go Marine medevac for quite a while against Zerg and then add on tanks later. So
that's very
a couple different options that SuperNoVa has here. We'll have to wait and see what he chooses on this map.
Certainly possible. And of course, when you go Command Center first, but you still opt for those early Hellions, you can put those barracks up that much earlier. Normally, you'll see 4 to 6 Hellions on the ground, and then, you know, or well, they'll start the command center as the factory is starting to produce its first couple of Hellions, and then you can run into 4 to 6 Hellions, and then you'd put up barracks after that. But of course, yeah, SuperNoVa invested in his economy so well already in this game.
Yeah, 2 reactors immediately on the barracks too, so he's going to follow this up with a ton of Marines. He may even just decide to go Marine Hellion here. He's going to, excuse me, wow. He's going to have a timing where he's going to have quite a few Marines. Stim is just finished, and if he saves his Hellions, like he saves them from the Zerglings, for instance, he's going to have a very, very strong army. Looks like he is going to add on Medivacs as well, getting that starport right now. And ZeNEX.Life just trying his best to drone up, going for the double upgrades too, so we are probably going to see Ling Infestor Ultra in this particular game. Not a lot of times do you see Mutalisk play with the double upgrades.
Well, he is investing quite heavily into gas right now, putting up gas 3 and 4 and layer tech, so we'll be able to tech and move into that stage very quickly. And once again, has to watch out for these Zerglings, but he's already done quite a bit of damage to them, and they just have to run away.
Yep, that's about it. Hard to take on Hellions with Zerglings unless you have a very overwhelmingly large amount. There's a Baneling nest right there as well. This strikes me as more defensive than anything. He's probably thinking that he's going to need it here just because he hasn't seen really anything else out of his opponent yet, so wants to just kind of stay safe, getting his 3rd base as well. So yeah, just kind of doing everything he can to sort of stay safe and play a longer macro game in this particular match.
SuperNoVa, though, he's invested into his own upgrades pretty well. He does have Stim Pack coming up now with a ton of Marines, making 5 at a time at the moment. Finally going to add on takes here soon. Scant, and he's going to pick up a couple of creep tumors as well. ZeNEX.Life trying to chase these Hellions away, but a few Zerglings are going to go down in the process. He does manage to catch a couple more of the Hellions, though. Will kill them all, but SuperNoVa certainly takes a little bit of a toll there.
You know, that was actually some really, really nice Zergling micro from ZeNEX.Life. I was not expecting to get all the Hellions, but he did. He got every single one of them. It cost a lot to do that. He had to make a lot of Zerglings, but it's worth it to get that out of the way, get your creep spreading a little bit farther, and there's the Infestation Pit on the way as well as Baneling speed. So yeah, he will be going for a lot of people have been calling kind of the Stefano style, going for the lots of Lings, lots of Ling upgrades. But really, Demago was one of the first players to do that. I feel like Stefano kind of perfected it, kind of made it his own, and we've seen other players do that as well. Nurcio is another player that tends to like playing this style, and it is very strong in ZVT.
Those Medivacs are actually picked up by these Lings that were trying to take control of the Xel'Naga towers, and he's already streaming a bunch of those units back, so SuperNoVa not going to get anything done with that drop inside of the main. He has to put down the units outside of the creep range, outside of the natural. Also a 4th coming up as well right now. Oh, loses 3. Actually, excuse me, a little more than that. Loses 5 Marines.
You know, he did target fire one of those Banelings, which is pretty nice. He also did, at least not lose a lot from the other Banelings, so all in all, not a terrible engagement from SuperNoVa. He does still drop. Nice drop positioning there. Kills a few more Lings, loses a couple more Marines. ZeNEX.Life, though, handling the pressure very, very well. He's got the Infestors coming out now. He's got 2-2 on the way. And so both these guys playing pretty even here.
And it looks like ZeNEX.Life knew about the possibility to drop down to the bottom right-hand corner, but dances units away a little bit there. 2 more Marines go down. Seems like he's always losing 2 Marines each push there.
I really thought that Queen was going to die, too.
Yeah, no kidding. But decides to pick up a little bit before that's done.
Oh, does he see it?
Yeah, he actually dropped down. He actually dropped down there before,
okay,
so yeah,
that's right.
That was within his vision. This drop could threaten once again. Hive Tech is already coming up very quickly.
Yeah, this is actually a great example of what Stefano has been doing lately. No, I take it back. Never mind. Stefano does this a little bit differently, but this is a good example of this style in that you rush for Hive very, very quickly. Now, some players do decide to switch to Broodlords at this point, but as we can see, there's no Spire out, so we're not going to see that this game. Probably is just going to go right into Ultralisks.
This is a nice job of the drop just to pull a bunch of units out of position, because this area is somewhat close to that sweet spot on Tal'Daram Ultra where you can actually siege up and hit some economy with some siege tanks. But it looks like SuperNoVa may just go right on by that. However, we have a Ling counterattack as well.
Yeah, or not. He's turning around. He knows he needs to handle this push. Oh, well, that was a bit of a risk there from Life. Now his opponent is siege up with a great tank spread. Goodbye, Queen. Thanks for playing.
Yes. Oh, wow, and he's dropping at the same time as well, so he's pulling more Zerglings out of position. The Infestors making their way up to the front. Fungal growth, a couple of units here.
He's going to need more than that. Oh, this may not be enough. Will it be enough, though? Great Fungals, the Banelings connecting.
Yeah, and there was actually a pretty clever little thing that just happened there, which allowed SuperNoVa to kill a few more units than I'd anticipated. His units actually made a very thin wall, so they didn't take a ton of damage. Oh, okay, we're actually going to talk about his double drop that's going on right now first.
Man.
Cleaning up a bunch of Zerglings there, has a few more units inside of the natural. He's killed quite a few workers. Actually, take a look at the workers killed. He's killed 5 of them already. Okay, maybe just pulling those off. There they were. I was like, where are they?
Yep.
Thought they were all dead.
They're okay.
Yes.
So
I feel okay. All right. As our lone Zerg player, we have to be protective of him.
I know. Yeah, that's right. Be safe, ZeNEX.Life. But you know what? He was safe. He did handle that really, really well. He maybe lost a few more lings and things than he needed to, but when he came out of that, he was ahead. His opponent is taking a 3rd base a little bit later here. He does have 4 bases, conversely, so ZeNEX.Life still very much in this game. His upgrades are also pretty good. He's getting +3 melee right now. So, you know, all in all, well played so far from ZeNEX.Life. I mean, it's really tough to handle that style that SuperNoVa does. You know, lots of drops, a lot of multitasking involved in holding that off. You have to pick exactly the right amount of units to deal with each drop.
And he's just going to counterattack over into the planetary fortress. Oh, no, he's just going to run right on by and go into the natural. However, SuperNoVa is doing some damage over at the 4th. Oh, looks like ZeNEX.Life wanted to go for the 4th of his own, but SuperNoVa does not actually have one up. This queen may fall here in a second. 8 points of health going down. He's not able to get inside of that supply depot while he can't find anything against his planetary fortress either, so not getting a lot done, unfortunately.
Kind of an awkward situation for ZeNEX.Life being caught like this. It looks like he will handle these Marines here. But yeah, just kind of looking for a chance to counterattack. I really feel like if he ran those Marines back, he'd be able to handle this army yet again, but things not going too well for him at the 2nd. There's that drop in the main.
Yeah.
His 4th getting assaulted as well, and that's going to go down quite soon, possibly.
Yeah, let's see here now. Yeah, the 4th is getting pretty low, but he's killing more workers than anything else.
Here
now finally running around with the Lings, dropping down some infested Terrans as well, and he will be able to catch and clean up the vast majority of those units, but now there's some more Marines. They're a little bit out of position, though, so the tanks were exposed, but SuperNoVa is still just getting so much done with these drops.
And the fighting drones trying to fight those Marines, but man, oh man, he can't kill the Marine, the medevac.
So close.
Healing way too much. That is just kind of sad. The Queen's like, I give up.
Well, let's see. Oh no, investors.
Shooting gallery.
It is, but they're only they were like on. They were just sitting there and watching the investors walk on by.
We've got a bunch of holes in us now, but it's okay. We're still top. We're still investors. 7 Ultralisks on the way right now for ZeNEX.Life.
Yeah.
Still in the game. And he didn't lose that 4th base as well. He lost a lot of drones and all that, but he kept the base alive, surprisingly.
I love Atlantis Spaceship. This map has just produced some amazing games, and it looks like we could even be in for the long haul in this one. Taking a look at the workers, unit counting station, we have 64 workers to 66. Slight economy advantage for SuperNoVa, though, due to mules. And, you know, he's sitting on pretty fair upgrades, but those Ultras, they are out. They are in force. Chitinous Plating going to finish up in just a bit, and they did just get +3 attacks as well. Yeah, and the thing is that SuperNoVa is not really adding anything. Oh, nice. I like that. Tossing some infested Terrans to get the tanks fired on. But SuperNoVa hasn't really begun preparing for the Ultras at all. He's just still going Marine tank right now. Yeah, no Marauders out at all, anything along those lines. I don't know if he knows about them quite yet. And a couple more units getting cleaned up there. A drop going to try and make its way into the main. Yep, yet another drop here. SuperNoVa trying to get that lead with the nice multitasking, and I don't know if that's going to be enough links to handle this. Kind of doesn't look like it will be. Marines are pretty good when they get their upgrades going, although they are only 1-1 right now. Yeah, that is weird. Very good all the time, I guess. Upgrades for SuperNoVa. Yeah. Okay, well, there's a few Banelings out. Oh, nice try there. He does, of course, bungle, and that's going to be good enough, but of course he wanted to use those Banelings to clean those up very efficiently. Yeah, definitely not quite as efficient. That's 11 medevacs on the field for SuperNoVa. Yeah, medevac for every Marine. Basically. 9 Ultras. Wow. An Ultralisk for every, well, not really. But one for every 4, though. That's a little intense. An Ultralisk for every infestor. Well, the Marines are going to run through and try and do some more damage. However, it looks like Life was planning on attacking at that point. And we've got a bunch of units trying to reinforce. Ultralists are going to make their way in. They are very, very well upgraded. It doesn't look like this is going to be enough here for SuperNoVa. He will get this force cleaned up, but he is doing considerable damage to the 3rd. Yeah, the 3rd and the 4th have been more or less shut down at this point. The 4th is still doing a little bit of mining. Oh, and this factory is actually going to die. Bye-bye. Wow, okay, so SuperNoVa kind of evening things up a little bit. He's got that command center there.
Will he be able to turn it into a planetary in time?
Oh my god, or is this planetary going to hold up? SuperNova's going to need to
see.
repair that right away.
Got Banelings to handle the SCVs and try to repair, zoning out some Marines with the other Ultralisks.
Yeah.
But will that third base go down?
It's very, very close, and it dies. Now, SuperNoVa, at the very least, though, does have a lot of command centers still hanging around, so he will be able to go back to 4 bases very, very quickly. He is losing a lot of workers, so there's still a ton of Ultras that are just ravaging his base.
Yeah, you know, ZeNEX.Life really needs to just kind of get out of here, pull back a little bit, group up a little bit more, and then move out. He's got a decent supply advantage going now. Yeah, he's backing out. He's like, yeah, it's just not going to be efficient enough for me to attack into this right at the moment. Oh, especially with those tanks there. Yeah, Life needs to be very, very careful about the next couple minutes in this game.
Drop rolling in for SuperNoVa. He's going to try and pick off a couple of units, but there are Banelings sitting there. They decide not to engage, though, as Life wants to roll right through the front. Tanks are not sieged up, and unfortunately, Lings are just going to be able to run by the supply depot wall. The Ultras are coming in as well with the Banelings in tow. There's some Infestors as well, dropping down a beautiful fungal growth. That's going to neutralize a couple of Medevacs here in a second. Boom!
Medevacs dying with all the units inside them yet. The Ultras trying to get up the ramps. It's going to be tough, man. Some of the Medevacs did manage to carry some units onto the high ground.
Right.
But yet another supply lead for ZeNEX.Life. He's just getting farther and farther ahead here. He can expand again. I would probably say that's a pretty good idea.
He did. SuperNoVa was able to take out another base in return, as we do have, already forcing a cancel on the hatchery down at the bottom. So a pretty crazy game, but it looks like Life has taken a pretty good advantage. However, if he's passive at all, of course, because he's not doing really that much mining at all, SuperNoVa's going to be on 4 base and will be able to reproduce pretty soon, but I don't know if he's going to have that opportunity.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's still a very strong army here for ZeNEX.Life, but the Marine upgrades, the bio upgrades have pretty much completed now for SuperNoVa. So that army is only getting more powerful as this game goes on longer. ZeNEX.Life needs to kind of end things soon. We've seen Zergs be this far ahead before on this map and still lose just because that late game Terran army is so difficult to handle.
Yeah.
You only have Ultras, but he's going for it.
Yeah, Life's just going to push right ahead. Ultras are pretty grouped up, but it looks like there'll be just enough sheer killing power here to go through the bio units. And SuperNoVa trying to get whatever he can done with his mining, but he has lost the vast majority of his units. And only sitting on 19 workers. There's the GG.